Hello guys, welcome back to another video of No Huddle. Today we're going to be doing a quick update on some of the top players in the 2023 recruiting class. So we'll go down the list, give my thoughts on their commitment status, some visits maybe, or just overall thoughts on the player themselves. So let's get started. Leading things off, we have quarterback Arch Manning, the number one player in the class of 2023, number one quarterback. Arch Manning's been committed to Texas for a couple months now. Really no sign of any decommitment, flip watch coming. He's locked in with the Longhorns. Just recently in an interview, he stated why. Really, it was the coaching staff, the environment, the tradition. He wants to get Texas back to where it's going to be, and he said that he believes Steve Sarkisian can do so. So it looks like Arch Manning's going to be a Longhorn. Next up, we have Cormani McClain, the five-star corner, committed to Miami. Hurricanes went out and got the number 2 player in the country when Florida was thought to be the leader. A lot of Florida fans are pushing the narrative that Cormani is going to be flipping to them, especially after flipping Jaden Rashada from Miami. In my opinion, and from what I've been reading, I don't think Cormani is on flip watch whatsoever as signing day approaches. He's sold on what Mario Cristobal is building down there in Coral Gables, and I think he's going to stay locked in with the Hurricanes. Moving on, we have Malachi Nelson, the five-star quarterback, number 3 player nationally, committed to USC. Remember when Lincoln Riley left Oklahoma and went out to USC? Malachi Nelson, I think it was like the day after, flipped his commitment from Oklahoma to USC. And ever since then, there's been very little smoke. There was a couple weeks there when people thought A&M was a threat when he was rumored to take a visit or two there, along with USC commit Zakaria Branch, who I'm going to talk about next. Zakaria Branch, also a USC commit. Just like Malachi Nelson, very little smoke on flipping. Him and his older brother Zion Branch, who's currently on the team, are both USC legacies. Their uncle, I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but he played there at USC. So really no smoke there, just the A&M stuff over the summer. Both of them locked in with the Trojans. Next up we have Nicholas Iamaleava, the Tennessee commit, one of the more well-known players in the class, and rightfully so. Probably the best pure thrower of the football in the country. 6'5", 195, the 5-stars, committed to Tennessee. He committed there, I want to say, I think April, early spring, before summer visits, and ever since then he's been locked in with the Volunteers. Didn't take any visits, didn't really listen to any other teams. He shut down his recruitment pretty early, and I believe he's going to be joining Tennessee for bowl prep, get some practice time in as he enrolls early. He's pushing for a starting job next year. Caleb Downs, the 5-star safety, out of Mill Creek, Georgia, coming off a state title, committed to Alabama right now. Ohio State is trying really, really hard to flip him. They tried getting him on campus. They're relentless in their pursuit of him as I speak right now, as signing day approaches. I think he's locked in with Alabama. After his state title, in his interview, he said time to go start the grind for a natty at Alabama. So I think that's a pretty good sign for Bama fans. He's locked in with the Tide. Next up, we have David Hicks. Now, this is probably the first recruit on this list that has a lot of smoke going on in terms of flipping decommit watch from the Aggies. Back when he committed, there was a lot of predictions, a lot of crystal balls in place that he was going to commit to Oklahoma, Brent Venables and company. Todd Bates was probably his lead recruiter in the process. But he ended up going to Texas A&M. So that shocked a lot of people. He's very tight with the D-line coach at A&M, Coach Robinson. And his dad previously said it would be really hard to drag him away. But at the same time, Oklahoma and Oregon are probably the two main pushers trying to flip him. A lot of lead experts also are saying that this isn't really a battle between Oregon and A&M or Oklahoma and A&M, but more so Oklahoma and Oregon. They think he's going to flip, decommit. We'll see. He's visited Oregon 2 times in the last month. He's been there a total of 4 times. He's also going to be going back to Texas A&M this upcoming weekend. Todd Bates and Brent Venables are scheduled for an in-home visit this week, along with Dan Lanning and company at Oregon. So things are going to be interesting as December 21st comes around. Jimbo's not giving up. I believe he's going to have his last in-home visit this week before the dead period. A&M definitely likes where they sit with him. Francis Mauigoa, the Miami commit. Not much about him going on behind the scenes. During the season, many thought he may decommit. He posted a lot of pictures on his Instagram at games. You'd see the stands full, but then later as the games went on, it was pretty much only the recruits in the stands. Many thought that would rub these recruits the wrong way, but I believe that the success of Miami this year, the lack of it, I guess, is really making these recruits want to stay locked in, or even making guys want to go to Miami. You want to go change the culture. You want to go back to what they used to be back in the early 2000s, the 80s. They want to get the U back. I think Francis Mauigoa is locked in with the U. Jackson Arnold, 5-star quarterback out of Geyer High School in Texas. He just lost his state title game to DeSoto. DeSoto, I guess. I think it's a O at the end. Yeah, DeSoto. That was a pretty disappointing loss for him. They were huge favorites. Nonetheless, Jackson Arnold is one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Currently committed to Oklahoma. No sign of flip watch, decommit coming. Nothing there. He's locked in with the Sooners. A couple hours ago, Keon Keeley committed to Alabama. He's the number 10 player in the country. 5-star edge rusher. Number 1 at the position. He decommitted from Notre Dame back in August. And ever since then, it was a battle between Ohio State and Alabama. Alabama was rumored to be the main reason he decommitted. And ultimately, that's where he ended up being. Dante Moore is next, the 11th ranked player, 5-star quarterback, committed to Oregon. Now, over the summer, Oregon was the heavy favorite. As the season's gone on, there's been a lot of rumors. Michigan State peeped their head in there. But I think that has been shoved to the side. I don't think Michigan State's a player here. But Kenny Dillingham left Oregon, the offensive coordinator, who was Moore's lead recruiter. That's opened the door for teams to sneak in, make a strong push here late in the process. UCLA recently got an official visit this past weekend. Chip Kelly got Dante Moore on campus. Now, according to reports, UCLA laid out a huge NIL deal for Moore if he decided he wanted to play there. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I'm only saying that because I've seen it on multiple pages, multiple websites, that Moore got offered a huge NIL deal. And also, if he goes to UCLA, in my opinion, he's in a great position to be the day one starter there, He's committed to Oregon right now, and who knows if Bo Nix comes back or not. So you have that going for UCLA. Bo Nix could be there. Maybe Dante doesn't want to sit on the bench. Also, Oregon just got a new offensive coordinator, so you never know what that relationship's like. So I'd say Dante Moore is slightly on flip watch, decommit watch. Definitely something to keep track of. Next up, we have 5-star edge rusher Damon Wilson. He's uncommitted. He's from Venus, Florida. He's committing on signing day, which is just 9 days away. It's between Ohio State and Georgia, in my opinion, the top two. Currently has crystal balls to Ohio State. Late in the season, Georgia picked up a lot of momentum. He was on campus for the Tennessee game. Remember when Georgia's defense played lights out? I think it was like the loudest stadium. Last several years, it was a sellout. One of the biggest games of the year. Kirby Smart had all the high recruits in town. David Wilson was one of them. So I think it's pretty much 50-50 right now. These in-home visits this week probably going to be the deciding factor for Damon Wilson, whether it's Ohio State or Georgia. Next up, we have the 13th ranked player, 5-star offensive tackle, Caden Proctor. Now this one's very interesting. He's committed to Iowa right now. That's where he's from. The hometown kid committed to Iowa. Recently, he got an offer from Deion Sanders at Colorado, and he posted that, and that went viral on Twitter, all over Instagram. But before that, Oregon and Alabama were making a strong push for him. He visited both of their campuses for games. There's actually a prediction in right now that for Oregon to flip him. That is from a month ago. And since then, a lot has happened. You have to think Colorado's going to be a part in this. I mean, we saw Deion flip Travis Hunter from Florida State on signing day last year, so nothing is out of the realm of possibility here with Caden Proctor. Someone to keep an eye on as December 21st comes around. Next up, we have the 14th ranked player, 5-star wide receiver Jurion Dickey, committed to Oregon. Really no smoke here. He's locked in with the Ducks. He posted one of these like NIL promoting things on his Instagram. It had Penn State and Tennessee in. But that was just because he had to have 3 teams, and he came out, reaffirmed his commitment to Oregon. So I think he's locked in there. Next up, we have 5-star athlete Nicholas Harbor, one of the best tight ends, one of the best edge rushers in America. He's from Archbishop Carroll in Washington, D.C. Just a freak of nature, one of the fastest players in the country, and he's 6'5", 230 pounds. Now with this recruitment, he's uncommitted, but with his recruitment, I see South Carolina and Maryland being the 2 leaders right now, just because of what they're telling him. They're not telling him the same message as Michigan and LSU. They're telling him, you're going to come in on campus, you're going to play day 1, you're going to stand out, everyone's going to know who you are, you're going to be the big man on campus. South Carolina let him wear that number 7. For those of you that know who wore number 7 for South Carolina, that was Jadeveon Clowney, the former number 1 overall pick. So South Carolina's got the tradition going for him. Shane Beamer's trying to get that program back. They've been a huge player in his recruitment for the last year or so. Maryland, the home school, he's been there multiple times. He was there for the Ohio State game when Maryland was in the game. It was a great atmosphere, probably the best atmosphere Maryland's had in the last couple of seasons. He was there to see that. He said he loved it. He said he loved the way the team plays. He loves Coach Loxley. So that's going to be an interesting recruitment to follow. I don't know when he's committing. I imagine it's going to be sometime later in the year as he's still trying to get some visits set up. Michigan's also a player here, so is LSU. Georgia's recently entered the mix. One thing LSU has going for him is Jamar Cain, his primary recruiter. They have a really strong relationship. He's gotten Nicholas Harbor on campus several times. I imagine LSU is going to go for an in-home visit as well in the coming week. Next up, we have 5-star defensive lineman James Smith. I'm also going to pair him with 5-star edge rusher Quay Rusal. They both play for Carver High School in Montgomery, Alabama. They're rumored to be a package deal. They're going to go play together in college, or at least they want to. Their recruitment's been very interesting. I've had a good time following it. There's news almost every other day with these two. Now, with being from Alabama, Alabama and Auburn are going to be 2 heavy pursuers, and those are probably the 2 leaders right now in the recruitment. But I don't want to sleep on Florida and Georgia here. Georgia's kind of falling behind. I'd say going out of the picture just slightly. But with Kirby Smart and Glenn Schulman, nothing's out of possibility. I'm just saying I think Georgia's going to the back seat just a little bit here. Now with Florida, Billy Napier has something going right now. Flip Jaden Rashada from Miami. He's gotten 5-star Samson Okunlola back on campus, who commits this week. And he's also gotten James Smith and Quay Rusal on campus multiple times. Now, if Billy Napier does this, props to him. He's going to have a lot of apologies heading his way from a lot of these people in the media, especially around the Florida program. When he was hired, they're like, oh, we need someone that's going to recruit and get us back to where we're going to be. Well, by the looks of it, Billy Napier is going to do that. And this is a big opportunity to get 2 5-star front 7 players out of Alabama. Would be huge for Florida. After missing on Corbani McLean, they still haven't given up on him. But this would be huge for them. They get James Smith and Quay Rusal. Their in-home visits are lined up pretty well this week. I know they had some coaches from Alabama in last week. I don't know if they're planning on visiting anywhere else next weekend. We'll see in the coming days. But I really like where Alabama and Auburn sit with that one. Next up, we have 5-star tight end Deuce Robinson. 6'6", 225 pounds, number 1 tight end in the country from Phoenix, Arizona. He's been a heavy favorite to go to USC in his recruitment in the last several months. I like USC here as well. Georgia's also pursuing him pretty heavily. Georgia has one of the best tight end rooms probably we've ever seen. They're probably selling him on, come be the next one. Learn from the best, come be the best. Texas has also been in there. They got him on campus to meet Arch Manning and company. Alabama, At the beginning, they were pretty heavily in his recruitment, but I'd say they've fallen out of the picture. Same with Oregon. Those two are warm. I believe they're still warm on 247 in terms of interest, but I think they're pretty much out of this recruitment. There is one player, one team starting to enter this recruitment and should be taken seriously. If Deuce Robinson doesn't sign or commit in the early signing period, I'm looking at Arizona State, the hometown team, new head coach Kenny Dillingham. Coach is really, I should need to rephrase that. He recruits very well, coaches offenses that give the ball to playmakers, and if Deuce Robinson goes to Arizona State, he's going to be their best overall player the minute he steps on campus. Hometown kid. I'm sure Kenny is trying to sell him on stay home, gonna be the leader of this team, be the focal point of our offense. So Arizona State's definitely a team to watch there. Next up, we have Desmond Ricks, 5-star corner, formerly in the class of 2024. He was a top 3 player in the class of 2024 before reclassifying. He's from IMG Academy. I really like LSU in his recruitment. After they beat Bama, he got a flurry of crystal ball predictions to go to the Tigers. Not only that, he has a strong relationship with multiple coaches on that staff that go back multiple years. He's on a visit to Alabama right now, or he might have just got off the visit. He was there over the weekend. Going up against Nick Saban, you can never count out the Tide in a battle. There was a time when Alabama was thought to get Desmond Ricks, Cormani McClain, both 5-stars. They missed out on Cormani McClain. Maybe LSU can get Ricks as well. Stealing from Alabama. I really like where Brian Kelly and company sit with this one. Next up, we have the number 2 safety, 5-star Peyton Bowen from Notre Dame. He's also from Guyer, same high school as quarterback Jackson Arnold. Peyton Bowen's been a long time commit to Notre Dame. He really likes Marcus Freeman and how Notre Dame plays defense. Now, if Notre Dame didn't beat Clemson this year, I don't think Peyton Bowen would be a Notre Dame commit as I speak right now. He was at that Clemson game when Notre Dame put on a show and just beat up Clemson. Notre Dame had played the best defensive game of the season that night. Peyton Bowen was in the house to see that. And ever since then, the smoke behind the scenes has really quieted down. Oklahoma is a huge threat here, though, in my opinion. I don't know if it's his sister or girlfriend. One of the two go to Oklahoma. He's been there multiple times. He has a huge relationship with Brent Venables. A lot of interest in Oklahoma. But as of right now, Notre Dame, Marcus Freeman, still holding the commit. Another player to keep an eye out for as December 21st comes around. Next up, we have 5-star offensive tackle Samson Okunlola. He's committing this week. The third best offensive tackle in the class, 5-star, from Thayer Academy in Maryland. He's one of the most sought-after recruits. He's known as Pancake Honcho, and rightfully so. Miami, probably the favorite right now. But as I mentioned, back with Cormani McClain and Quay Rusall and James Smith, Billy Napier was able to get Samson Okunlola on campus this past weekend, and rumors are they hit it out the park. They had hit a home run with the visit. He was just there just a couple weeks ago as well, so this is not out of the ordinary for Florida to get this man on campus. He wanted to go there. He wanted to take his own time. He had options across the board what school to visit. He chose Florida. Now, with that said, this week of in-home visits, he has Mario Cristobal and some of the Miami coaching staff coming in to his house for a visit. Now, if they get the last visit, I've got to say Miami's probably going to land him here. I'd say Mario, when comparing him to Billy Napier, Mario's definitely the better closer on the recruiting trail. I think Cormani McClain was a good example of that. But we'll see how things go. In my opinion, I do think this is Miami versus Florida for the 5-star O-lineman. Now, next, and the last recruit I'll be covering in today's video, is 5-star linebacker Anthony Hill. He's the number 1 linebacker in the country. He was committed to A&M, but as the season went on and some of their struggles were beginning to show, he decommitted from the 2023 class. And ever since then, Texas Longhorns have been looked at as the favorite. Now, I'm not quite sold on that, even though I do think Texas is the favorite to land him. But I don't think it's as big as people think. just because he decommitted from A&M doesn't mean he can't go back or won't go back. I mean, we're talking about Texas A&M here, guys. This team went out and got the best class of all time last year in 2022. On signing day, they hit so many home runs. It looked like Aaron Judge out there, left and right, just 5-star, 5-star. Oh, we flipped this guy, another 5-star D lineman, 5-star corner, 5-star linebacker Anthony Hill right now. Yes, Texas is looked at as the favorite. But when it comes to a defensive recruiting staff, A&M has one of the best in the country. Just because he decommitted, I don't think they're going to give up whatsoever. So, as December 21st comes around, this is definitely something to keep an eye on, even if he strings this one out just a little bit more. Definitely between Texas A&M and Texas, though. Not many other teams have entered the picture, so we'll see how things go there. That's going to do it for today's video, guys. Once again, thank you for watching. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, tell your friends. If they love college football, come check out the channel. Leave some thoughts in the comments, maybe some video ideas, what you guys would like to see, recruits you want me to talk about, or college football players in the transfer portal. I was going to do a transfer portal video, but every time I go to make a video, I refresh my phone. 20 new guys in the portal, so leave some names in the comments, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.